In the last video, we looked at how you would create tables with different rows and column spans and row spans so that you can display the data in a table fashion where the columns are nicely aligned and the rows are nicely aligned too. So now we're going to look at how we would use tables to create what we would call page layouts. A page layout is the placement of the major sections of a web page. So where's the header going? Where's the main content going? Is there a side menu? And if so, which side is it on? Are there any other columns that we want to add to help the user understand the information on our web page? On the screen, we can see some various examples of different page layouts. We can see that there are layouts that only have a single column and all of the content fits within that column. Or there are layouts where we have a column set aside for the side menu, and that might either be on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, or maybe we have a row for the header and we have a row for the footer. Okay, so what we're going to do is essentially create a huge table that fills the whole page and then place our various content elements inside that table. So I've started just by creating a simple table. Here's my first table row. My first table cell within that row, and this is going to be the main section of the page. I'll just press run just to test it that it's working, and then there's the main page. Next, I'm going to create another cell on the same row as the main page, and this will be the sidebar. Next, I'm going to add a new row, which is going to be the main title of the website. So I'm going to add the row before the previous content. Then I'm going to add a new cell, and then the title is going to go inside this cell. So I'm just going to run it to test it, and yep, there's my title. So now I'm going to add IDs to the various sections so that we can apply some styles to them. So I've just added the ID of title, and now I've added the ID of side menu, and then lastly I'll add the ID of main page. Okay, so even though this still doesn't look like a properly laid out table, now our table is actually in place, and what we need to do next is add the styles so that everything is positioned correctly. So I'm just going to add an ID to the main table called container so that we can style that. And what I tend to do is to just give it a background color so that I can see how that table is being positioned in the main page. So the first thing I'm going to do is to give the main table a background color. And then I'm going to start adjusting the width and height of the table so that it is correctly positioned on our page and pretty much takes up most of the page. So the width is going to be 100%, and the height is a new unit that we haven't seen before called VH. So it's 100 view units of the height. Next, I'm going to start applying some styles to the title cell. So I'm going to set the background color to be yellow, just so we can see how it's fitting in. And you can see that what's happened here is that we've only got one cell for that row, so we need to change the column span to 2 so that the title bar stretches all the way across the full table. You can see there. Also, it's obviously taking up way too much height, so I'm going to set the height to be 50 pixels. And then there's my title bar. Next, I'm going to change my page title to be a header. So I'm just changing that to be a H1 and see how that looks. Now I'm going to apply some styles to my side menu so that we can see the proportion that that's taking up of the page. So I'm just going to set the background color to be blue. I'm going to set the text color to be white. And again, this isn't how my final page was going to be colored, but it just allows me to see how much space the sidebar is currently taking. So now I can apply a width attribute and I can make sure that I can fine tune my width to be the right width, and I think that looks about right. And so now that I've got my sidebar set up and my main area set up, I just want to make sure that the content is aligned to the top of those sections. So I'm going to add this vertical align to the top of the side menu, and I'll add a vertical align to the top of the main page section. And there we have our very simple page layout with a left-hand sidebar and then an area for our main content on the right and a page header at the top.